I don't know, it made me angry that we're still doing this, that we're still judging other people based on our own, like that we're still projecting our own shame and guilt and kind of and wounds onto other people and call that activism. You don't have to earn your right to be here. You don't have to earn your right to be granted humanity. Like it is so heartbreaking to witness people who care so much about liberation, but who are so who don't think that they deserve the very care and humanity and forgiveness that they want for the world, you know? Because so many of us are just so profoundly disconnected from our own humanity. I just want to I just want to shake someone and be like, "Wake up! You're almost there, but like, don't you see that you're getting it wrong? You could you could be so much more you could be so much more effective in this fight and also so much more happy and fulfilled at the same time, and you think that you have to choose one or the other and you're not actually doing either." And I think maybe the reason why this is maybe also frustrating me so much is because it hasn't been that long since I understood that. It hasn't, and I'm still discovering that every day, and I think there are still a lot of parts of me that don't know this to their core, and I still question. I think maybe that it made me so mad because it made me question myself, because there is a part of me that hasn't completely gotten over this, because it makes sense that I haven't. Hello, friends. I'm trying another this is another try of me making a video outside, because I just got home from work and I really wanted to go outside because it's cooling down a little bit, and I don't know, yeah, and because I wanted to be outside, because even though at my workplace we do have an outside, we have a garden. I didn't spend that much time there today because it was my responsibility to take care of food today. So I spent most of the time, or a large portion of today's work day, inside preparing food, and then I talked to a person for like over an hour inside. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. Hello. Hello and welcome if you're new here, and welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Eliah, and here's a tree. Here's a cute tree. And here are some rocks, and there's some water. So you've met my surroundings a little bit. Yeah, I wanted to make a video because how do I start this? So sometimes, you go on social media and you see someone sharing something, saying something that makes you have a reaction. And that happened to me this morning. And I so it was a post, or like, so I wasn't surprised, like the person that shared this thing that I had a reaction in response to, I was not surprised that by what they were posting, and it's kind of like it's in their it's in their wheelhouse. But so it was, and yeah, so basically it was a post that talked about how joy as resistance is, yeah, like something like, yes, joy is resistance, but for Palestinians and for people of color, and not for white people, like trying to feel good about themselves and not caring about anyone else, or something like that. And I understand, like part of me responded or like had a reaction to that post, because like I think some part of me felt like, oh, maybe this person is talking about me, or I don't know, I guess in some way I felt judged or misunderstood, even though I had absolutely zero idea who they were talking about, or whether, yeah, whatever, or whether they are even, whether this person is even watching my stories, or I don't know, or whether, like, because I could have also easily been like, well, I'm not the kind of white person that they're talking about. But that's not, I don't think that that's what this was about, because I know, like, because I, because I am actually no longer interested or invested in other people thinking I'm a good person, let alone a good white person, whatever the fuck that means. But I think what I had a response to, or what I was judging, I don't know, maybe it was also the other thing, but like now I'm like, what I was judging, or what I was, I don't know, what got me was like, it's like, you're getting it wrong. Like, you're, because, yeah, because I was, I don't know, it made me angry that we're still doing this, that we're still judging other people based on our own, like that we're still projecting our own shame and guilt and kind of, and wounds onto other people and call that activism, because like that is, and that makes me sad and angry, I think, because I think maybe it made me sad and angry because I understood that this person has kind of like you're almost getting it, but and that's like, and I just had to think of, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this already, but maybe I haven't posted that video, but I just was reminded of Paulo Freire's concept, or like this quote, or like this thing that he calls, the domesticating forces of oppression. One of the gravest obstacles to the achievement of liberation is that oppressive reality absorbs those within it, and thereby acts to submerge human beings' consciousness. Functionally, oppression is domesticating. To no longer be prey to its force, one must emerge from it and turn upon it. This can be done only by means of the praxis, reflection, and action upon the world in order to transform it. And where I see that in that moment is this idea that we are separate from one another, that and this, yeah, this binary that we have started to, like, what has, like, so like these identity politics. I think Candace de Mesa, I'm probably pronouncing your name wrong. I'm really very sorry. Not that you're gonna watch this, but I'm gonna link her Instagram in the description. But I think she recently talked about something like this. I don't know if that's what she was talking about, but like this, how this thing, like these, like how identity politics used to be something that came about and was used for people to find each other in their shared kind of vulnerabilities, and to kind of build community, and over shared experiences, based on their particular, yeah, locations in these systems, um, has now is now be that, like, this thing, like that identity politics is now being used for us to police each other, um, and to and to call and to like seed more separation and alienation. And yeah, it's just not it, because like we're using identities as accusations, and as judgments of who gets to do what and who gets to feel what. And I don't think that that's what we're here to do, actually. Like, we, meaning people who consider themselves leftists, or people who um, people who consider themselves to be fighting for liberation and who don't agree with colonialism and racism and white supremacy and stuff. But by by using these identities to police each other and to project our own wounds and shame and guilt and stuff onto each other, um, and telling each other kind of like that, like based on this identity you don't get to do things, you don't get to have this feeling, you don't get to um, like whatever you do, like like basically if you are white, I don't care, like basically I'm gonna assume that you're like that, like there's no way for you to live joy as like authentic resistance. I'm gonna like if I read you as white, I'm gonna assume that you you can't actually be subversive or be in resistance to something via your joy, via your grief, via your feelings. And I don't think that's true. And I don't just say that and I don't like, of course, yes, I am in this body. I cannot step out of this body. I cannot step out of this embodied experience of being a person navigating the world, racialized as white, and all of the privilege that comes with, and all of the horrible trauma, like everyday trauma, as well as inherited trauma and generational trauma. I don't have to experience, and that is not ingrained in my experience. I'm not at all saying, like, I'm not negating that. But the idea of liberation, the idea of decolonization, the idea of feminism, or whatever, like, liberatory framework you want to use, um, is not to turn these power dynamics on their head, because it doesn't work. Because like the idea is not like the way out of this shit, the way out of oppression is not by flipping the roles. It's not by like, because like we don't we don't we don't escape this paradigm by like we don't escape white supremacy, or like the paradigm of white supremacy and all of the horror and like and just like the death machine that this is. We don't escape that by the logic of, well, because white supremacy has been dehuman, because white people have had these privileges because of white supremacy, and white supremacy is about dehumanizing people we don't racialize as white. We're like now like basically we've been like, well, because okay, the logic is not that because under the system white not like people not racialized as white people, like indigenous people, black and brown people, um, were not granted needs, feelings, like humanity. We don't change that system, we don't uproot that system by then going around and saying white people don't get to have their humanity unless da 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 da. Your humanity is unconditional. Your intrinsic, your yeah, you have an inherent worth just because you are here. You don't have to earn your right to be here. You don't have to earn your right to be granted humanity. You don't have to earn your right to joy, to grief, to your human experience. You cannot, and I'm not saying that I approve of people, or that I think that, like, I'm not saying that I think it's a liberatory thing for white people, or anyone for that matter, to like, or like for white people to just celebrate their joy as resistance, disconnected from any liberatory struggle. But that's not editing eliah here. I've just been reading reading up on Paulo Freire, on Pedagogy of the Oppressed, for the last hour and a half. And I found so many good, juicy bits that feel like they would make my argument better. I think I have to be okay with the fact that I didn't say all the things in this video, and that this very impromptu TED Talk lecture about reproducing colonialist, white supremacist logics in our activism, undermining all the things we're doing. I think I'm just gonna have to be like, make some peace with that being what it is. That I'm not a walking database of decolonial literature. Unfortunately, not yet. I'm working on it. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna let the other me take over and try and figure out how to make this video a bit less long. Okay. Bye. I don't think that anyone who doesn't give a shit about Palestine, that anyone who doesn't give a shit about racial justice or decolonization or social justice and climate justice or anything like that, I don't think that anyone who doesn't care about any of this goes around claiming that their joy is a form of resistance. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But even if I'm wrong, those people are not my focus, because what good exactly is that doing? What good am I adding to the world? What change am I adding by judging other people for something that I honestly cannot know? I'm not saying I'm not and everyone gets to have their opinions, and that's, I think that's what I was struggling with when I had this reaction, because I was judging this person for having this opinion and for not getting it. But I think it's just, I think judgment was the first reaction, like the instinct, the I'm not that. How could you? Like, you don't get it. Blah. But I think what's behind that is there's some grief there, about some grief or anger about how people, that a lot of people, like, first of all, so that a lot of the people who are who get it, that a lot of the people who have understood what we need to be fighting for, that are aren't actually doing anything because they're so paralyzed by their own guilt. They're so scared of kind of being a bad white person, or what, like, they're so concerned, because like that, I think that's what it is, right? Because me judging other people from what I can see on the outside, or from the story that I'm telling myself about them, whether it's true or not doesn't fucking matter, because I cannot know what's going on inside someone. I cannot know. That doesn't mean we can't talk about it, but like, but like, just if this is what you're spending your precious energy on, judging other people, if you're spent if you think that because you know what made me what made me mad, because it made me question myself. It made me mad because it made me question myself, because I was like, am I actually am I off? Am I wrong? No, I'm not. Because because, and that's kind of why I got to making this video earlier, is because I was reminded of something, because another thing that I read, and I don't even know, I might have also reshared that a couple of years ago. And I think it was something like, I don't know how to explain to you that you should care about other people. And I think that's the entire issue. Because if we frame it like that, then obviously I'm going to be hopeless. But but that is from the perspective of someone who has not deconstructed the lie of individualism, which is what I'm talking about with the domesticating forces of oppression, right? Because however we are racialized in this godforsaken, no, I'm sorry, in this system, we are all living in the same system, where like it obviously it affects us differently, but we're still all living in the same paradigm that tells us that we're all individuals, and that in order to, and some of us are good people because we realize that other people, whether they look like us or not, or especially if they don't look like us and if they are on somewhere, also matter. And we cannot force anyone, basically, and like basically the premise, or like the of this quote, or of this sentence, of this statement, like, I don't know how to explain to you how to care about other people, is that there is that that I think what's in there is something martyr like I've been thinking about that a lot, how our entire like westernized, globalized society hinges on on Christianity, because like that's what modernity was constructed upon, like, and what like those were the ideas that that was what drove colonialism, right? So, like, that is one major reason why colonialism happened, because burgeoning modern Europe was both of the opinion that um, they embody principles such as equality and sovereignty and fraternity, or something like that. Yeah, like equality and sovereignty or whatever, while also doing genocide, um, and literally taking land away from other people, and killing them over it. And the way that they could merge these two things is, one, because of something called mind-body dualism, and like a split that happened. Like, you can do one thing and like, well, the only thing that matters is your rational mind and not your feelings, right? And if your feelings are animal, and if your rational mind is the only thing that makes you human, then any feeling you have, like, that doesn't matter if you know, whatever. And the other thing, is that how colonialism was able to happen is because of something called um, fuck me, what it I can't think of the word right now, but it's a law, or so it was a law or something like that, that was actually originally based in like Roman law, where it was called, I think, terra nullius or something. But it's basically this idea that um, it was like something decreed by the Pope or something, that gave Europeans the right to take over any land that was not inhabited by Christians. Basically, any people who were not Christians were not considered people, which is how they got around the whole like equality thing. Because if they're not people, then they don't have any claim to sovereignty, right? I feel like I got a little lost, but yeah, and this is the basis for our modern society, like thinking like that. It's the basis for Western science and the way that we understand and categorize and whatever the world. And yeah, and it's this lie of individualism. I was talking about the lie of individualism and about this quote. I don't know how to explain to you how to care about other people. Yeah, okay. The thing is, if we understand that we are not actually separate from each other, that we're all actually interconnected as human, like that all humans are interconnected and that we are interconnected with everything around us, then we would understand that there is no, that this binary of you and me and us and other doesn't hold up. But as long as we insist on that separation, we will believe that we have to choose that one, as long as we hold on to any binary, we will put one above the other. It's either your freedom or mine. It's your needs or mine. It's your story or mine. It's your opinion or mine. And as long as we uphold these binaries, we will invite this idea that one is better than the other, or that one is more important than the other, or that one can only exist to the, like, if the other is annihilated. And that's, if we understand that that binary, that separation is an illusion, only then will we realize that it doesn't matter whether we're dehumanizing ourselves or dehumanizing someone else. Dehumanization doesn't work one way. We cannot like, if we understand that we're all human and we're all connected, I cannot dehumanize you without simultaneously dehumanizing myself, because we all have the capacity, like, to lose the traits or gain the traits that will deem us worthy of our humanity or not, right? Like, none of that is stable. This is like, we can see that with the discourse, with how, like, we are judging ourselves, and with what is seen as worth canceling someone over and what isn't, and what makes you a good person, what doesn't, and what makes me want to never talk to you again, or make me think like you're a bad person, whatever. Like, these things are not stable, and we will keep doing this to each other if we don't realize, either we understand, and I think that's what Candace was talking about, either we understand that our fights for liberation are connected, or we don't. Either they're connected or they're not. And if they're not connected, then what are we doing? Because they are, right? So when I say, or when we talk about how my liberation is connected to yours, or that, like, no one's free unless everyone is free, that does not mean that I sacrifice myself for someone else's freedom and that is how I get free. That doesn't make any sense. That how, like, because I'm also a person. My humanity matters too. It doesn't matter more than anyone else's, but it matters. Right? I don't know. I don't know if I got where I wanted to get. But yeah, I think that's what I find so frustrating. We get, because, like, And I think that's what happens on Instagram. We just like I honestly I don't see, like, it's not like there aren't people on Instagram who don't get this. Like I'm and like I don't like benefit at all from being on Instagram again. I love seeing that I'm not alone and that there are so many people out there already fighting that the same fight and understanding the same things and trying so hard to get that out there and to lead with compassion and to lead with care. And I also think that just like the means with which we're doing things, or the means that we think we are limited to, they are working against us. And that's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to look or to witness people who so desperately, like, it is so heartbreaking to witness people who care so much about liberation, who care about the same things that I do, but but who are so, like, who are not, like, who don't think that they deserve the very care and humanity and forgiveness that they want for the world, you know? Because so many of us are just so profoundly disconnected from our own humanity. And 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 I think that a lot of us then aren't actually fighting for, like, I don't know. I don't know. It just breaks my brain a little bit, as well as my heart. And I don't know. I think it just, yeah, it just makes me sad. And it does make me angry, um, that I don't know, that people just, I don't know. I never know. Like, I'm always so confused when I have feelings about, when I like judge other people or something. Like, I don't know. It makes me confused because I'm always so, like, my instinct is always to understand and have compassion. And I think maybe those two things can exist at the same time. And also, I don't have to invest my energy in that. And I think I'm just learning that maybe I should stop. I don't know, that, like, whenever I see something like that, I should just mute that person because it's not helpful for me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was also, I don't know. I don't know what this was about. And now there's some, I'm feeling frustrated, and I think also a little scared because I wanted to say something important. And I think, I don't know, it makes me feel like I just wanna, I just wanna shake someone and be like, "Wake up! You're almost there, but, like, don't you see that you're getting it wrong? You could you could be so much more you could be so much more effective in this fight and also so much more happy and fulfilled at the same time. And you think that you have to choose one or the other, and you're not actually doing either." And I think that is just very, I don't know, that's just sad. And also, it is, and also there are so many people who are getting this. And I think maybe the reason why this is maybe also frustrating me so much is because it hasn't been that long since I understood that. It hasn't. And I'm still discovering that every day. And I think there are still a lot of parts of me that don't know this to their core. And I still question. I think maybe that it made me so mad because it made me question myself, because there is a part of me that hasn't completely gotten over this, because it makes sense that I haven't. And yeah, it wouldn't have bothered me so much if there wasn't a part of me in there that resonated with that. Yeah, I don't know. Shadow work is a bummer sometimes. um, yeah, and maybe I'm also just grieving all of the time and energy and relationships and whatever I've wasted, quote unquote, with that mindset. It just makes me so sad. It makes me mad and sad, like that this fight that we're yeah. I really recommend and urge you to check out Candace's Instagram because she's mwah. She talked about like how systems of oppression, like how like things start in like a spiritual realm and they grow. I don't know. It's yeah. You have to you have to address the colonizer within. Otherwise, you're just what are we even doing? We're just it's I think unless we're trying to liberate ourselves as well, all of this is just what is just saviorism and a very misguided attempt at that as well. Like whatever we want to like, I don't know whatever it is. If we don't include ourselves in our own liberation, hello, what are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, I think I'm done talking. I've talked enough. It's getting dark anyway. Um, I really hope that the audio of this was okay because I think I made some good points. And yeah, leave me a comment if you have some thoughts that you want to share or just to let me know that you watched till the end. Maybe you can leave me a tree emoji or something. Um, what a beautiful one this one is. And yeah, I hope I will see you in the next one. And yeah, you're doing it. I love you. We're getting there. It's gonna be fine. It is already fine. I don't know. I'm trying to say something profound, but I think I said a few things already. So I'm gonna just go. Bye.